Hey Andy, welcome. Hope you're having a good night over there. No worries. Yeah, it's there and up. Take a look at. It's pretty fun. We finished up everything inside the Underdark and are getting ready to head to the Grimforge next week. And we should probably get through most of the Dwergar encampment next week. We will be fighting Mir next week, that's without a doubt. It's whether we finish up all the other cleanup stuff afterward. It just kind of depends. Yeah, well, you missed me rolling another nat 1 after I jinxed myself. I always think I need to go back and do a compilation video of all of the nat 1 jinxes, but I can't remember where they all are, so I'd have to go watch all my hundreds of hours of videos again to find them all. But yeah, happened again. Yeah, I actually had 3 nat 1s in a row yesterday on my off-stream honor mode playthrough. It was horrible. Horrible. Hey David, welcome. Yeah, 4 would... I don't know what I'd do. 3 was bad enough in honor mode where I can't reload anything. I don't like being left with just 1 inspiration. I don't like it at all. And missing a must not miss check like that, I drove me nuts. The one I got the most comments about in my personal, after watching, I mean from my friends after watching the stream, was the one where my bard walked off the roof of the goblin camp and was downed. I was so close to just losing it. I mean, I lost it a little bit, but I had to remind myself that I mark my videos not for kids, but I try not to curse on my streams, and I almost lost it. That's what Karmic Dice is meant to do. It's meant to avoid the back-to-backs. I mean, there's always going to be speculation, especially when you're in the middle of it, as to whether or not the random number generator is working or not. In my personal playthrough, I had on Tactician, I had a nat 1 and then a nat 20, but I reloaded to see if I could avoid the nat 1, and I rolled a nat 1 and a nat 20 again, and I was like, okay, wait. If this thing is scripted, I'm going to be very upset. But then when I reloaded the third time, I rolled, like a 17 on the first roll. So I was like, as, sometimes it seems like the random number generator is scripted against you, but I'm not a conspiracy theory person, so I'm going to choose to believe that it's not. But yeah, sometimes it just feels really bad. Yeah, I don't do face reveals or face cams or anything in my videos. I'm too private for all of that. But yeah, it's good that I don't have a camera on me when that happens. I'm sure y'all would enjoy it. I have no doubt that y'all would fully enjoy watching the physical pain as well as just hearing the pain of my voice. But yeah, it's like I say, I've been playing tabletop for 40 years, off and on. And I've been through a lot, so... Oh, thanks, Andy. Yeah, I won't do it. I mean, there's no need. I mean, who wants to see a 50-year-old guy playing video games? I mean, so. But yeah, I'm also just too private a person. I have a grand total of 2 people in my personal life who even know my channels exist. Just because I don't want any family or friends or anything accidentally dropping what they think is an innocuous comment, on a video or something, and it reveals personal information that might be identifying. I just don't want to take the chance on anything, so I won't do it. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if people, I mean, I would say most streamers do, but yeah, it's just not something personally for me that I'll do it. But I certainly don't, feel one way or another about anybody else doing it. If they're comfortable with it, feel free. Content creators are all going to be different in one way or another, so... I've always told everybody that I've been on the internet before the internet was the internet. When I was back in college, they were just then opening up the internet to public access. And we were on a university backbone. while they were building the first real public internet access across the country. So I've been on it for a long time, and I've seen the good. I've also seen the bad, and I just want to avoid the bad as much as I can. So. Yeah, I just recently got rid of cable, just about a year and a half ago. Got rid of it completely. I still have cable just for the internet because I don't have another option. The fiber here is significantly slower. I wouldn't be able to stream on it. But yeah, I no longer have any TV channels because yeah, I don't watch it. Some of my credit cards come with entertainment allowances that allow me to get subscription things for free or refunded, things like that. So that allows me to watch movies and, you know, watch TV shows that come on streaming services and things like that without having to really pay for them. So that's what I do now. And if I need to watch local channels, I have, back like we used to have back in the day, I have an antenna. It's inside now. It doesn't sit on top of the house anymore like it used to back when I was a kid. But yeah, I have an antenna to get local channels in case of emergencies or weather, local news if I need it, and that sort of stuff. So saved a lot of money, I will say that, getting rid of cable. Cable bill went from $230 a month down to $87 a month just for the internet, so worked out well. Haven't looked back. Yeah, I'm familiar with that from my friends over there. Yeah, we're lucky enough to have free over-the-air channels here. But yeah, it's just, you don't watch them hardly at all, but if you do need them for, like I say, emergencies, local news, especially stuff during like hurricanes and stuff like that that happen here, the local news and that sort of stuff is invaluable to keep you up to date on the latest warnings and happenings and that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's all free for us to get here. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode number 44 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Paladin gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, nothing on admin notes, but on our recap, last week we had recruited Minsc into our group, and we're not going to utilize Minsc. Minsc is, I mean, you can respec Minsc to be whatever, but he's a ranger-based character. We're pretty good on the party makeup that we have right now, so we're probably not going to mix him into it. Much like Halsin, and for the most part Jaheira, unless they have a storyline, we're not going to mix them in. And Minsc doesn't have a companion quest line storyline to go along with, so we've recruited him, but we're really not going to bring him into the party at all. What we are going to do though today is we're going to head back into the sewers. We're going to keep Jaheira in the party, even though she's probably not the best suited for what we're going to be doing in the sewers. But we're going to keep her in the party because then after the sewers are done, we're going to head out and finish up one last thing with her, and then once that's done, we'll be able to send her back to camp and bring Shadowheart back in and continue on with the main quest line. So let's go ahead and jump back in. Okay, so here's where we left off last week, and we had just finished up here in the high security vault, and you can see that we don't have any short rest left. We're getting a little bit down on our action economy, but we're not down far enough that we can't continue on with some exploration here before we take a long rest. So what we're going to do is we're going to just head back up to the Basilisk Gate real quick. We're going to head right around the corner and head into the sewers here. Now, we haven't been down this manhole because there's only one real way, or one real destination that it leads to here. So you come down the manhole here, there's a wall over here. Okay, there's no wall over here on this side. You'll see what that is later on, but that's somewhere that we're not going to get to, well, not get to for a while today, I should say. So leads you into this area here. And you have a break in the wall here, and you can see this area out here full of nauseous fumes. There's a door at this end down here, and another door at this end down here. There's also another way to go out this side. This is actually just another entrance. You can enter into this area through here to get into the same place. So, but you don't want to enter in this way per se. You certainly can. You need somebody though that has decent jump, because right over here's a lever. And that will shut off the nauseous fumes. Now, it normally doesn't explode. It's only exploding because I have the Helldust gloves on. So it's giving me fire damage when it impacts that. It normally doesn't explode. But that will free this up in here for you to traverse it without getting poisoned. But we're going to come back to this. So now that we're down here, you can continue on around this way. There are a few things that you can search down here. And heading up these stairs leads you to a door, and this is the back door to the guild hall. This leads you right in behind the bar is right here. Nine Fingers quarters are right here. So this leads you right in behind the bar. So this is another way to get into the guild hall. You just have to pass a lockpick to get in and do it. So this is the only real way that this way leads, and that's why we didn't come in this way. Like I say, we are going to be exploring all of this today, and you'll see the other ways into this area. So today we're going to open up and explore the rest of the unopened areas here in the ruins. And we're going to start that, or in the sewers, and we're going to start that by heading to the Undercity room. Okay, now we've been here before. This passageway leads us into the ancient lair. Wondering why the door is locked. Oh boy. A nat 20 to start. That's never good. Okay.
Can't slow down.
So yes, this leads us into the ancient lair. One thing we did not do is once we finished up everything down here, we did not head up the ladder. Okay, the ladder is what brings you back into this room here, and there's a lever that brings you out right behind the Voiceless Penitent. And there's the waypoint where we just were. Okay. Now, in our last episode, we did a little bit of exploring, and we've learned a little bit of the story behind the three thieves here. Alis, Bereki, and Sarin. And we're going to go into hiding here, and we're going to steal from this pouch.
Don't mind if I do. Just like
Okay, let's... Well, it doesn't matter. He's not going to see us out here, and we probably, since it's on the other side of the door, have to move out here to be able to access it. There's a skull in here, and this is Sarin's skull. Now, when you pick this up, you again want to get immediately ready to fast travel back to your camp. Because even if you're out of sight, Bereki will know that you took it, and he will question you about it. So you don't want to be in the area when he does it. So... So what we're going to do is we're going to go look at a lot of this area around in here. And to do that, we're just going to make our way back toward this area here. This is the other manhole that leads you up by the Facemaker's boutique.
Step quick.
No one back home will ever believe this. These boots have seen everything.
So we're going to make our way back in here.
What's the name of that river down there?
Wizard.
And once you have the skull, the Mephits are going to be marked as allies.
And it tastes great.
Okay, so they're not going to interrogate you or anything like that about you being down here.
Did you go for a swim earlier?
Don't know how to swim.
And you can see that Sarin's skeleton is highlighted. Now you also see something else that's trailing us around. Once you pick up the skull, a headless ghost is going to be trailing around behind you. And that's actually Sarin's spirit. And that's why they're all allies to you, is because they're trying to protect Sarin. And we're going to help complete that.
Someone there.
By putting Sarin's skull back in here. Her head will come back. And we're going to get the reward for finishing this up. This reward is Chancer's Carcanet, and this gives you, once per long rest, you can use a reaction to make an attack roll or a saving throw with advantage. This is going to be incredibly useful for something that we're going to be doing later on. Making a saving throw with advantage while you're in combat or something like that is, again, situationally very, very useful. However, when you get into scripted moments when you're trying to work your way through something and you need to make saving throws instead of ability checks, this lets you do that with advantage. And there are relatively few things that let you make saving throws with advantage in the game. So this is a great thing to have in your inventory for times like that. Now, Sarin at peace is here. Okay, there's nothing to loot there, but there is a chest behind these grated iron doors here. Now, it's marked as steel. If you pick your way in there, you can do it. You have to be either distracting all of them by minor illusion or something like that to move them all down here, or be in greater invisibility to be able to pick it. But if you do it, you can go in and loot the chest. The other way to do it is to kill all of the Mephits, Greaseballs, Elementals, and Alis. That is a big combat. It spans a lot of territory. You can see there are more of them down here, more Greaseballs down this way, and there are more Mephits and Greaseballs down this way. So, and Alis will spawn in Magma Mephits as well. And that's a little bit, makes things a little more difficult because the Grease Mephits are vulnerable to fire. They have a death burst, just like Mud Mephits do. Magma Mephits are not. They're vulnerable to cold. And that means that you're kind of mixing elemental damages, trying to kill one Mephit or Elemental or Greaseball at a time. So you kind of have to switch up your AoE spells if you're using them. So the combat can get a little intense. The Elementals hit pretty hard if they do manage to hit. They do have... The Mephits will spit grease at you, which counts as muddy, just like the Mud Mephits were. And then the Elementals can multi-attack you if you're muddy. So it's not something that I'm going to do. There's nothing in there. I mean, I guess we can. There is one thing that Alis has, and I'm trying to remember.
So quiet here without Bereki.
Sorry, I'm just gonna look up something real quick. And see if I can find on the wiki real quick what he has. Yeah, he's got the Cinder Moth Cloak. The Cinder Moth Cloak is very useful for your burn builds or your heat builds, where you want to try and be on fire most of the time to be able to gain heat convergence, because this has a benefit where a creature that damages you while you're wearing it receives the burning condition. And then you're able to stack up heat convergence on them and amplify that. There are also a bunch of weapons that proc on the burning condition. So for your burning / heat builds, the Cindermoth Cloak that Alis is wearing is pretty good. And I don't know, yeah, Flaming Shroud is here as part of it. And it works at range as well. It's not just up next to you. So, it's a pretty good cloak for that type of stuff. Now, Alis is obviously fire-based. So he throws Fireball around like he can cast 90 of them. He will throw it around everywhere, and he has very, very damaging Fireball spells. Even if you pass the saving throw. He upcasts a level 3 Fireball to be a lot higher than that, and it it really, really hurts. it really, really hurts. So it is a set of combat you can do if you want. You don't have to, though, and I'm not going to here in this playthrough. There's just no real need for me to do it. So we're going to head down here into this area, which is just down here. We've been down here before. Okay, so now here I'm gonna break the group. Gonna go to Astarion, and I'm gonna have to send Astarion to camp. Hey, Lord Henry, welcome. Because I need to get something from Shadowheart, and that's the Sentinel Shield. To give me advantage on perception checks. Now, the chance that I'm going to make these perception checks is still really, really small. But I'm going to do everything I can to maximize my chances at doing it. And I'm going to need the Eversight ring and my smuggler's gear. Okay, and again, I could go more by throwing in things like bless and that sort of stuff.
You need something.
If you know, I can reconfigure my party to deal with that sort of stuff.
I have a lot on my mind.
I'm just not going to. What if I fail some of these? I fail some of these. I'm not too worried if I fail them.
Watch your back.
And first, we're going to look at the Kobold Thief.
Don't mind if I do.
Okay, he's got a map. If you read the map, it says there's an area marked with an X. Next to this says Bug Thimble Dragon Tribe Treasure. Okay, and that's going to give you a hint. You have these dirt mounts. Once you click on it, you get a background perception check that happens. Okay, and lets you know that there's a chest. The chest is trapped. Now this one's marked Dragon. That is the chest that you want. Okay, these are higher DCs. And I didn't show you, but the perception check on that one is a DC 20. So I rolled really well. I rolled a 16. So proficiency, Mark of the Shifter, guidance, and my wisdom modifier with him got me to a 29 on that. But the DC on them, on the rest of them, here's a dirt mound here. Okay, so I passed that one too. I'm actually doing really well on these. Is a 25. Oh, I rolled a nat 20. So yeah, DC, the DCs on these are really high. Wow. I'm rolling incredibly well, and there's one more here. No, two more. Wow. Okay, I'm afraid we rolled a bunch of nat 20s here. There's one more. Let's see if we can fail this one. Okay, we finally failed one. But yeah, see, rolled a 10. Even with a 4 from Mark of the Shifter, I rolled a 1 on guidance, so that wasn't all that great. But yeah, the DCs on these are pretty high to be able to pass. Now, if you don't pass it, you can still open up the chests, and you see they all are marked different things. Okay, just to illustrate what they are, I'm going to click on this, I failed it. What it does is have a force blast, is what it gives you. And that force blast can damage you as well, not for Astarian, but it can give damage to you as well. If the force blast goes off, the DC on the chest goes way down to 7 to be able to pick it. And just to illustrate what's in these, they all have a letter, a note in them. And these are all fake chests here that don't have the treasure in it that you're looking for. And every one of these chests are just going to have another note letting you know that this is the wrong chest. The dragon chest here is the one that you want. And this is going to have random items in it of the jewelry and jewel types that you get. But just for instance, trap disarm at a DC 15. Wow. There we go. A 1 and a 3. Okay, and then more scrawled notes, and every one of them is going to be the same thing. So, if you disarm the trap, then you'll get a much easier. It's a much easier pick roll to go in, or I mean to get in. It's a much lower roll to get in than the perception check of just surviving the blast and picking your way in, because then it's a DC 7 roll. So. Even if you don't notice the trap, you're still easily able to get into all of them. So that's what's down here in this area. Now we have been up here.
What to do? Should mind my step.
We've seen over here. We're going to see where this goes a little bit later. Okay, but as far as this end goes, we're pretty well cleaned out. There's nothing else that we need to see. I don't think there's anything in that little alcove over here, but we'll go check it. We'll go open up the map in here. Okay, yeah, it's in an area that we can't get to anyway. Yeah, it's this area here, the map. So yeah, there's nothing back there, and we can't exit out of that area. This is our traversable section of the map here. So yeah, nothing else down here on this end that we need to look at. So this entire end over here has now been opened up. We have all of this up here to go look at, and we have some stuff down here to go look at, as well as this area here. So let's go ahead and make our way over here into this corner. Alright, camera angles. Okay, so we're going back around this corner and making our way through here.
I keep forgetting. What are we supposed to be doing?
Wizard told us to watch for troublemakers.
But we are troublemakers.
Shut up and keep your mouth lucky little peepholes peeled.
Okay, so we'll put Astarion to work again here.
Oh, for a skeleton king.
Boy, it seems like we're rolling nat 20s and then ones.
Down there.
But this is a whole lot of nat 20s.
Whatever it's called, it's impressive.
Okay, now in this area here, come into and you have a ferry here.
Looking ahead.
And the two levers here send the ferry different ways. Okay, one of them is going to send you up here to this area. The other one's going to send you back down here, which takes you to the guild hall. We're gonna end up going this way, just not right now. So we're gonna head to the north. That means we're gonna activate this lever here. Yeah, and as we exit, you can see we have Lorna over here. If you have Astarion in your party,
What a day.
Let's move.
you get a slightly different dialogue here.
Ah, a friendly face at last. Are you going to the party as well? I don't know if I should say. It's very exclusive. Oh, go on then, I'll tell you. It's an underground party at a place called the Palace. My date's supposed to meet me here, but there's no sign of him. You haven't seen him, have you? Pale, skinny, extremely piercing eyes. Looks a bit like your friend here.
Oh dear. I assure you, it's not.
It's funny. He was ever so keen for me to come. He didn't seem the type to cancel.
Okay, so a place called the Palace. Who do we know that has a palace here in Act 3 in the Lower City? Cazador has a palace here. And we're going to learn more about what this is as we do a little searching around here. But yeah, it looks like this was another one of the possible victims of Cazador's vampires here. She was lured here, and so far they haven't shown up to take her.
Normal. Mostly. Didn't have much of an appetite at dinner, though he said he was saving himself for tonight. He was so enthusiastic. I don't understand why he hasn't shown up. Now you mention it, he brought his own wine with him to the Mermaid last night. Strange smell it had. Kind of metallic. You know what? I might give this party a miss. Plenty more fish in the Chionthar, as they say. If you see him, don't tell him I was here. Just tell him I wasn't ready to be in a relationship. I'm sure he'll understand.
Okay, it's always going to end the same way. If you mention that he was a vampire, Astarion's going to get disapproval for that, for one reason or another. But down here, you can see that there are some missing posters. Okay, and if you read these, you'll learn a little bit more about this. So, Chessa is missing. Reward offered for any information on the child. Greatly received at the Gur encampment. Now you start to realize what's been happening is that these are all the missing posters for all of the Gur children that have been taken by Cazador. And you can see there were 4 of them up to that time, and they were luring somebody else down here as well. as part of this whole thing. So yeah, not a great scenario to step into for her, but she's now at least not going to be taken by them anyway. The door here leads you into a new area that you can see. This is where we had that first initial fight with the Mephits and the grease balls here. We're now in a slightly different area that we could see from in there. You can see what looks like probably a gargoyle statue here. And down here, you can see a symbol, what looks like maybe a couple of fangs here. This is an entrance into Cazador's palace that we're going to, again, be dealing with later. But that's what's here in this corner. Okay, so now we're going to make our way back to the city sewers and start making our way up here. And for this, we want to make sure that Astarion is combat ready.
All right, time to skulk about.
Okay. And we're going to move him into this room. We're going to be very careful about how we maneuver in here. You can maneuver up to this spot really easily. Then you need to kind of wait for that detection cone to shift. We're going to make an attack here against the Death's Head.
Picked a fight. The consequences are hardly surprising.
Okay, so that's going to remove her unstoppable. Ooh, that was big. Thinking how I want to play this. I hate to waste a full power attack on the Death's Head. So let's
bated breath on my way.
Bring my Paladin in here far enough where I can hopefully get some shots in. From here. Nope, too far for that. I might be within ranged. Yeah. So a 70% chance.
Hope your soul is in good hands.
Okay. Well, didn't seem to...
This calls for careful footwork.
to care. Now we'll use the last here. Okay, we're not going to use any of our other actions here.
Still
we don't
breathing,
need to.
despite everything.
now that the death's head is gone, our detection cones have opened up quite a bit, and we can maneuver all the way down there, I think.
With haste.
Yes, can. Okay.
Can't give up now.
And that's going to free the gnomes. You can't interact with them. They just take off running. And they will disappear off the map. But yeah, they were some bad folks. Okay, so there's nothing. I mean, you can search all of these things in here. Nothing much really to see. And now this takes us into a room that we've already seen. Okay, so this is the way to initially get into this room and access the rest of this. So we'll move over here real quick. One group will fly up here just to open this up. But you can see that there's the heap side barracks cells. So coming in from this way, you can access this building from outside at the end of Heapside Strand. Okay, and again, it just leads you another way to get into this area here, but that's all it is. Whoops. I wanted to fly, not jump. Should really remap that.
Let's have a look.
There's a rustic chest here.
Careful, I'm bound. Easy.
With invasion plans, we've already seen all that before.
Let's get going. Moving ahead.
Now down at this end,
Keep a blade close.
another set of doors.
Should be easy.
And see, we've got a quest marker in here. This one's got a higher DC. We are definitely going to make sure we're combat ready here. Because we're going to need it.
No one stopped me yet.
My own home. We're close by. It will be good to see it again. Look for a ladder up.
Okay, so this lets you know that we are near to the Emperor's hideout, and that's what this quest marker is for. I've actually never seen that die before.
Keep going.
And there are a bunch of other things that you can search down in here. Very, very rare that you ever see a elixirs of radiant resistance. And then you have a ladder here that takes you up. And again, the same things that we've seen previously in some other places. However, there is
Cursed.
a log down here from Duke's domain. And this is, again, about her ongoing deterioration while she was dying, that you learned about from the Emperor, that we're going to learn a little bit more about coming up here in a second.
My old home. Thank you for bringing me back. Look around. You'll find some of my things still intact. Perhaps even useful to you.
Okay, and now we're down in the Emperor's hideout. And there is a lot of stuff that you can search down in here. We're going to make our way around. And we're going to get various perception checks throughout here.
A recipe for fiddlehead soup. A favorite meal of mine. When I had need of meals like that. An old container for brains. Empty. Shame. It would have been nice to find one to sustain me now.
Curious.
The chains I used to bind my meals. Villains and lawbreakers. You see, I tried to exercise morality where I could.
That might be worth a look.
My old sword. My first purchase as an adventurer. No use to me anymore. It's yours, if you want it.
Okay, so we can pick that up, and that's going to complete the quest, Explore the Emperor's Hideout. There's more to do here. The Sword of the Emperor comes with 1d4 bonus damage against shapeshifters and polymorphed creatures, which is really nice against Orin's minions. The wielder has a +2 bonus to saving throws against spells, which is, again, really, really nice. And a +2 weapon enchantment. So it is a decent sword, all in all. It's not something that we've spec'd out to use anymore, going with our great weapon master and that sort of stuff on our Paladin. But for your defensive-minded sword and board types, it's actually a really good situational sword to use when you need saving throw bonuses, and or when you're fighting any of the shapeshifters. Now, it also works against polymorphed creatures, so that can be of a benefit as well in certain situations.
That might be worth a look.
My cutlery set. A gift from my mother. The butter knife is missing, but otherwise it looks to be complete. I don't need it anymore, but the memory stirs something in me still.
Something over there.
My old wardrobe. The home of all my disguises. We are what we appear to be, and so appearances matter.
And in here, you're going to pick up two of the two Cerebral Citadel set pieces. The first is the armor. So you have immunity to being frightened. This is heavy armor with an 18 armor class, so we're past that a little bit, with most of our heavy armors doing 20 and things like that. So, but the immunity to being frightened can be very nice if you don't have any other way to do it. We have immunity to being frightened because of Hero's Feast. But if you are bringing out a character that doesn't have that, then this can be useful for that if you're going into a fight like that. It also comes with Lithid protection, so if you're infested with a tadpole, they gain a +1 to intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. So these are all the spellcasting saving throws. So now when you're wearing this, plus carrying the Emperor's Sword, you have a +3 bonus to Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma saving throws, which is huge. That's a 15% bonus to your ability to resist spells. The gloves come with Illithid Euphoria. So you charm or frighten a creature to gain a 1d4 bonus to attack rolls and saving throws. So if you inflict frighten or charm on a creature, you're going to gain a 1d4 bonus to attack rolls. And if you've done it, you're going to gain another 1d4 bonus to saving throws. And it gives you a strength saving throw bonus straight up of +1. So now you're starting to stack a bunch of stuff into a saving throw build to make you more immune to landing spells and that sort of stuff. Remember that we have the ability to counter charm as an Illithid ability. I don't think I have it here. But there is, yes, an ability in the Illithid Powers tree to charm. This is a reaction, so if someone attacks you, you can charm them. That prevents them from attacking you until their next turn, which is nice because it keeps them from making multiple attacks against you. It's not very useful early on in the game when enemies only have one attack per round. But now when you're getting multiple attacks per round plus action surge that gives you more attack per round, it becomes a lot more useful to be able to charm an enemy on their first chance, and then they can't attack you again. They have to try and move somewhere else. But this charm then would also give you that 1d4 bonus against that enemy and also give you a 1d4 bonus on saving throws. So the ability, and this is unlimited, you can use this as much as you want. It doesn't have to recharge or anything like that. So with the gloves working in concert with this, you can now see kind of where this is all going. And it's really an Illithid based set, so to speak. But not something that I'm going to be utilizing here in my playthrough.
That's curious.
A keepsake from my final voyage, pinched in a moment of sentimentality.
What's that?
Okay, now here, this is going to lead us into the main entrance to the Emperor's Hideout, and we want to be backed away in hiding and ungrouped for this.
I was trying to concentrate.
So again, we want to make sure that we are fully combat ready for this, because we're definitely going to need it. And I should not be bringing
What to do?
Jaheira on this. So I'm going to temporarily swap her out.
At the ready. I have a lot on my mind.
Aren't you a sight for sore eyes? A bit crowded, don't you think? You'll need to swap. Wonderful.
Okay, so let's check Shadow Hearts. Okay, so her build is still intact.
Better be cautious.
Okay, now she does not have immunity. She doesn't have Hero's Feast, so we need to be aware of that.
Not a sound. All right.
I'm gonna go turn off this torch. And hit the button. Okay, now out here you can see the Githyanki. You're going to have the veteran raider here, which is patrolling back and forth, so you have to watch out for that detection cone. you're going to have another raider up here, which moves back and forth. So again, need to watch out for that detection cone. Now the movements of them are a bit difficult in that they don't tend to stand still very long. So even though it looks like you've got an opening, and you do, you need to be prepared to move into that really quickly if you want to get into melee range against them. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring Astarion over this way. So I'm watching where the detection cone ends. And it ends right here. And I'm going to get him ready to come up here and try and get into melee range on this group here. If he doesn't, I will still initiate this ranged, if necessary. So I'm going to be hovered over the enter turn-based mode key here. Okay, so I'm going to go from there. Now, I want to take out the gate masters first. Okay, those are the two that are going to bring in reinforcements. So I'm hoping I am close enough to get in there. Just barely, but looks like we're good enough. So let's go ahead and get a sneak attack against the gate master here. Hopefully we can initiate a surprise round. That would be the best of all worlds. But we'll see what happens.
From the shadows.
Your violence hasn't gone
Okay, so I did not get a
unnoticed.
sneak attack.
It's about to be returned.
Or I didn't get a surprise round. But I am going to be able to add sneak attack to this and remove him. Okay. So now, as for the rest of these, the veteran Gish are the ones that I need to worry about more. That's not because the raiders aren't dangerous. They are very dangerous with their crossbow attacks. We're just going to minimize those crossbow attacks. And to do that, I'm going to kind of move around back here before I initiate attacks on this one here. Astarion is just outstanding. Oh, jeez, he's so good. Okay. So now, this side, you can see where our detection cones are.
Let's not get caught off guard. These boots have seen everything.
So let's see how far up here we can get. Because these detection cones get a little weird, I'm not going to lie. So either kind of sharp-edged broken here. Things get a little strange. So I don't know exactly how far up here I'm going to be able to make it.
Let's see what you're hiding.
So from here, I'm going to attempt to get into combat against the veteran Gish here. and hope that I roll well enough on initiative. But even if I don't, I'll be able to use my follow-up attack against Gate Master Rizel here. Okay, so I did roll well enough. I'm going to throw a Divine Smite on top of that. Now I'm going to follow up against Gate Master here. Finish him off. And that ends that. So, let's see. Might as well. I mean, heck, why not? Alright, well, I don't think I'm even going to have to do what I was planning to do here. So, I'm just killing everything. So, because the strategy here is to get your damage out on your first round as much as you can. Whoever's left, I was going to move in with Gale and Shadowheart and cast Darkness on each side. One group here and another group here. The Shirai here will not enter into the darkness. He'll just wander around back here, trying to get close enough to the darkness. But yeah, I'm not going to have to deal with that at all, I don't think. He's got 22. Let's see how hard he is to hit. So yeah, 58% chance with Spell Might going. So I can up this. I'm going to have to be taking a long rest anyway, so I might as well just overpower this. Okay, he's got 1 hit point left. I mean, come on. Come on.
There is work to do. Off I go.
Okay, so so I think that ends everybody's action economy. Okay, the psionic backlash is going to kill him. Easy enough.
What to do?
So yeah, that was exceedingly easy. Hey Tord, welcome to the stream. Sorry I was busy during the combat. No, I do not play with mods installed on my live streams. It's something after, believe it or not, after I have little over 1,400, or a little under 1,400 hours of gameplay now in these games, and I have not finished this game yet. I have not gotten through to the end. My goal was that once I completed a full playthrough, then I would explore the various mods that are available for the game. But since I haven't even gotten through a single playthrough yet, I have had 10 different playthroughs between early access and the 5 that I currently have going right now, and none of them have finished the game yet. So, no, to answer your question, I have not, or I am not playing with any mods installed. It is something I'm going to do, just not something I'm going to do until I've gotten through it and gotten all the achievements that I need to get out of the game. So that went exceedingly well. Like I say, I didn't expect it to go that easy for us, to be truthful, but I'm not going to argue with it. So on the Chirai here, you're going to have the Boots of Sonic movement. So when a Githyanki casts Fly, and this works with a shapeshifted character who is shapeshifted into a Githyanki, their next melee weapon attack deals an additional 1d4 psychic damage. And the one thing that I haven't tested with this is if the Fly ability from the Elithid Tadpole does this or not. And that's something that I want to look at right now. I'm going to shapeshift. And if I'm going to shapeshift, I might as well get the boon out of it. Okay, and now the Boots of Sonic movement here. So right now, looking at it, I've got acid, fire, and cold damage riders on Balduran's Greatsword. So let's see what happens. Okay, it doesn't look like it does. However, if I cast Fly here, it's as in the Fly spell, then it's going to trigger, I'm sure. Okay, so it doesn't show it, I guess, one way or another. And I'm not going to go attack one of my characters. I can try and attack.
Try me.
Like this vase here. Okay, I didn't see it. It didn't trigger here. This does work on shapeshifted Githyanki, according to the wiki. I'm just not seeing it. So I'll do some more testing offline with it and see if the wiki's just wrong about them and it only works with with Githyanki race characters. But I'll check that out, because then if it only works with Githyanki race characters, then maybe it work. I'll test it with Lae'zel's Tadpole Fly ability and see if it works. I think it's only the Fly spell, though, is what it does. So it's of limited use to me here in my playthrough, so you won't see me using them. Like I say, one way or another, I'm not going to be using them.
A long way to go still. I'd better take a peek.
Okay, arrows of many targets. Those are very, very nice.
Let's try this way.
Okay, now over here on the desk, gonna find a
Worth
silver
grabbing.
key. We don't need that silver key
Might
anymore.
find something useful.
That silver key opens up the hatch that takes you down into the sewers where we were. Okay, buried behind the counting house, path to Baldur's Gate near the upper city is some reserve supplies, and you'll see that get marked on your map now when you're in the lower city. Okay, so we are finished up in here, but we're not going to head this way.
Over, then through.
We're going to head back down to the sewers again. Because we still have some more exploring to do down there.
Oh, cursed to put my hands on everything.
It unlocks this hatch here. This hatch is normally locked. Since we came up from the bottom, it unlocked it. Okay, so now in here, we still have a little bit left to go. We have a little bit of stuff to look at here and down here. So we're going to go to the city sewers again. Oh, and again, I'm not going to be able to go explore this. This is the back entrance into the guild hall, which I just keep forgetting to open up. When you are in Nine Fingers Chambers, there's a door you can pick or there's a bookcase that you can pick your way into, which leads you back into this area, and there's a lever that opens this wall here. There's some chests and that sort of stuff that you can search in here. I just haven't ever opened it up. It's something I always constantly forget about. But we can head over this way because there's a long lost friend over here. There's also a survival check here we want. Oh, well, welcome to the channel, Tord. There's just fair warning. There's a lot of episodes. I had chat. What did I have? Did I have 4 or 5 early access live streams, right? And then I had, I think it was 4. Yeah, because the Bard continued on from early access into full version. And then the Paladin and the live stream. So there's either 6 or 7 playthroughs, various links in there. So I don't expect you to watch all of those. But thanks for being here. I certainly appreciate everyone new to the channel. So thank you very much. And here is Arabella. Actually, I wanted to talk with somebody else.
You as you approach. She's as intent on examining a peculiar stone as she is unbothered by the corpses littered on the ground.
Arabella?
Hey! I had a feeling you'd show up. It's sort of our thing, like it's fate or something. Check out the stone. It's magic. Incredible, right?
We're actually going to leave this.
Don't worry about me. I'll be just...
We're going to do this with Gale.
You have my attention. Let us confer.
Because there's an Arcana check
Arabella
here.
seems not to notice you as you approach. She's as intent.
Hey! I had a feeling you'd show up. It's sort of our thing, like it's fate or something. Check out the stone. It's magic. Incredible, right?
Okay, now, you don't have to pass this check. I just wanted to see if I could do it here.
You are flooded with memories of the distant past. Creatures slain, lovers reunited, spells crackling through the air. The stone holds records of all who have passed by it. Arabella is collecting them. It's as natural as breathing for her.
And I've only scratched the surface. I want to know everything. Bone Man was right. The weave will take care of me. I just need to listen. Bandits came at me with daggers. They didn't know who they were messing with. Yep, and I like it that way. Bone Man told me to follow the weave, to let it guide me. I've learned a lot thanks to him, and I'm still learning. Don't worry about me, I'll be just fine. I'll see you soon enough. Bone Man said so.
So, as we remember with our last encounter with her in Act 2 with Withers, she's now been released to explore the weave on her own after the death of her parents. And she is certainly doing that, and she is right in that we will see more of her once we get to the end game of this. We won't see her for a while, but she is part of the Gather Your Allies quest here, and she will show up in this list once we get to that point.
The easy path.
Okay, so now just a little bit more to go look at. Here. There's a letter here you can read. Just lists that this is somebody who is procuring some crafting supplies. Nothing much. And then this leads you back around this side where we have already been. So now if we take a look at our mini-map here, the only thing that we haven't really opened up is that secret area behind Nine Fingers Guild Hall. Everything else is fully opened up. Now this area is not, because this is again going down toward the Temple of Baal. We'll explore this when we come back to deal with Orin and get her Netherstone. But for now, we don't need to explore that way. The quest markers are just at manholes and other ways that lead us up to different locations that we don't need to really deal with right now. So I think there might be one more thing that I want to go look at. Honestly, I can't remember though.
What are we supposed to be doing? But we are.
Let's head around this way and see. This wasn't on my notes for today, but I think I remember what this is. Okay, yeah, it's just this area up here by the unconscious body that leads into this, into the other way up. I just hadn't opened it up fully to see the quest or to see the marker there. Okay, so everything else down here in the sewers is now opened up and looked at. So let's head up to the Baldur's Gate waypoint.
The Gazette reckons Lord Gortash is the second coming of Baldur.
And we're going to head to camp real quick and drop Shadowheart off. I brought her in for that combat because we needed her darkness. Turns out we didn't really need it. We probably could have done that even with reduced combat capability of Jaheira, but
I think you might have made a terrible, terrible mistake. Huh? Chasing rumor halfway around the city and back. Crossing the guild. Wading through filth. Defying the one creature upon whom your very life depends. All for a madman and his rodent. It was no mean feat to make nice with the sourest puss in the city, by the way. It took years for Estelle and I to trust one another. The Absolute threatens thousands, the entire coast. And still you risked much to help one man. I should berate you, but I can only say thank you. Your reasons were your own. But whether you meant for it or not, your fight is our fight, huh? Both of us. To the very end. Ah, those misty eyes are just age. Yes, I feel myself growing older as we stand here. So, lead the way. We're yours to command.
Okay, so we're going to bring her in. I don't think we've had camp conversations with Minsc yet.
My friend, now we have settled the matter of the guild. I fear there is something I must tell you. You and Boo both. It may shock you both to know, but Minsc and this Stone Lord, they are one man. The same one man. And that same one man is Minsc. Never has Boo been more proud of my failures. I wish to believe the Stone Lord's evil was the worm alone, tainting my thoughts with foul dung. But I see now, the dung was within Minsc all along. So I wonder, if Minsc can be a villain, and Nine Fingers a hero, must it be so with all creatures? Is there good and evil within us all? Boo calls this nonsense. Less thinking of bad thoughts, says he, and more breaking of bad bones. But still, I would hear what you have to say on the matter, my friend.
This entire conversation, if you haven't played Baldur's Gate 2, and I wouldn't have expected you to. The game's 20 years old. But if you haven't played it, this entire conversation is a perfect representation of the Minsc of old. Minsc was always portrayed in the games as a person who was simple of thought to begin with, but always tries to portray himself as someone who thinks very deeply about those simple thoughts. And it's always hilarious to me to see these conversations and realize how well Larian paid homage to the Minsc of old. These conversations could have come right out of the Baldur's Gate 2 game itself. They're deeply philosophical, coming from a character who is meant to be childlike in their thoughts, and it's hilarious to me to see it.
Even though it led to evil ends? And even the true Jaheira is not always right. She sometimes pets Boo a little too roughly, or denies him the breakfast broth so that I must dip him in the pot when she looks the other way. I begin to wonder if good and evil is not a thing of knowing, if it is sometimes a thing that Minsc must decide for himself, alone. Which is why I'm asking you. It is strange. A worm sits within my skull, twisting my thoughts. But it is you that have made Minsc see the world anew. You, my friend, are the true parasite. There is good and evil in all. Let us go crack villainous skulls, so that the virtue might leak free. Yes, Boo. I am becoming something of a philosophizer. Of course, my friend. Or are we not friends? Boo never looks to give me fleas. Sometimes you just pick these things up along the path. Now, does Boo see a question in your eye, or just a parasite poking through? Well, Boo, explain yourself. Clear enough?
So perfectly. It's so perfect.
Can you not? Do you not see his noble bearing? The deep wells of wisdom that are his eyes? Boo speaks of much. Perhaps one day, you will be ready to listen. Boo has a way with words that we lack. All that space in the cheeks, I am thinking. There is nothing jestful in the bond between a ranger and his companion. Before Boo, I was a typical berserker of Rashomon. Duty-bound and full of my own seriousness. The problem with one so gazing of their navel, however, they are easily ambushed. Brigands split my skull like a sodden wineskin. It was as I recovered that Boo first appeared. He told me that I had felt the great poking finger of justice, marking Minsc as its champion and Boo as my guide. As for the headache, well, justice cannot always afford to be gentle. Do not be ridiculous. If any of us is chosen by the gods, it is obviously Boo. Now, shall we away? My boots crave the crunch of unvirtuous nethers. Well, the mind of Minsc is a simple place. Of what strangeness do you speak?
The memories resurface, a lifetime of battles blurring into one. A single constant is Minsc, launching into the fray no matter the foe, be they god, monster, or man. It seems just the barest glimpse of what the man before you has seen and done, but enough to know that he has no right to still be alive.
Ah, wait! That look in your eye. I know exactly what visions of Minsc you have seen to cause you such wonder. My pants. Thrice-laced in the Rashomon style, so that a berserker might split skulls without fear of splitting bridges too. They are fiendishly complex, but fear not for Minsc. With training, he has learned to master the many little knots. Well, as have you, no? Do not forget that when you gaze into Minsc, Minsc also gazes into you. We both fight evil, wherever it is found. The who and where are less important than the hamsters you meet along the way. On this matter of sharing memories, I see no reason for us to worry at one another's worms. If there is more we wish to know, we can simply ask, no? Exactly so! If I must peer into the mind of my enemy, I use an axe. For friends, there is ale. No, my friend. If you fear you have a question that Minsc cannot answer, then you can simply ask Boo.
And you do have the option to persuade him here to take on a tadpole as well. But yeah, a great character. Like I said last week when we recruited him, it's awesome to see Minsc and Jaheira both from Baldur's Gate 2 back into the game again. It's like I say, it takes me back to that. So we're gonna bring Jaheira back into our party like we had originally planned.
Not so much a term of age or affection as simple old habit. You object? And will be again. But now I shall mutter them under my breath, out of respect. Flattered as I am, then let us be about it.
And the reason for that is because we're going to go do one last thing with Jaheira before we get set up to head to the Steel Watcher Foundry. And that is right here. And you know, while I'm here, might as well get cleaned up. This is an important meeting for her, after all.
Oi! Stop a moment.
Fine. Come in then. You might as well meet the family.
Meet the family.
Oh, Maller's Mark, here we go.
Are we quite sure she hasn't actually died this time, brother? She looks dead.
Smells it too. Ooh.
It has been a hard road. But I can clip you both around the ear to prove I am no ghost. If it would help.
Forgive us, Mother. We're just surprised you still know how to find your way home. She always brings the smartest people home, too.
Enough, Ryan. I taught you better manners than that.
No, you didn't.
A sending spell can carry 25 words. Do you know how many Jaheira's only message contained in all this time she's been away? 7.
If you are trying to help me, please stop.
The message went, I'm sorry, you know what to do.
So why haven't you done it? You were supposed to get the young ones out of the city.
And you were supposed to be dead. That's what your oh-so-stoic message meant, yes? Yet here you are. So, what happened out there?
I got my skin saved by this one. We've come to take the fight to the cult. Which is exactly why you all cannot be here.
Why? You plan on winning, don't you? You're the one who saved us, so tell me. Are we all doomed? So fight. That's what all you heroes and harpers are for, isn't it?
You are a very irritating girl.
This isn't your house, remember? You'll keep a civil tongue under our roof if we let you stay at all.
Have mercy, sister. She's old, after all.
So old! She can stay, but only if she brought home presents.
Seems I'm outvoted. See, Mother? That is how you go about talking things through with your family. Now, if there's more to discuss, then bloody well come in. And wipe your boots.
Okay, so a little bit of a homecoming for Jaheira here, and we can learn a little bit more by talking to the various members here, starting with Fig.
Commander!
Spare me your salutes, little traitor. You walked me right into that ambush.
Sorry, Commander. You are my commander, but George promised me pies.
Huh. I can't fault your priorities. You'll look after them for me?
Can I have a real sword?
No.
Fine.
And we'll come back and talk to Ryan last.
I take no responsibility for your plants. You know I'm more of a mushroom man.
You've let my study turn into a thicket. Is this what I am hearing?
I tended to it. I just let it thrive in its own independence. You know, same way you raised us.
I raised you to be a sweet and kind boy. What happened?
I watched what you did instead of listening to what you said. This house has taken in a lot of children over the years. Mother dear was sometimes more commander than, well, mother dear.
Wards, family, lifelong irritants. Use whichever term you wish.
We were down the market when I was about 9 years old. Some merchant started in with the usual. Yes, but where's your family? Whose son are you, really? When Mother was done with him, well, let's say he won't have any sons of his own to worry about.
Nature's law in action.
Okay, we're going to come back to her study here in a minute.
You three have been just guzzling the water recently. Let's save some for
A
the other.
fine day to you, sir. Are you known to this court? Crude manners, but you speak well enough for a peasant.
Jessamine discovered an old family tree in my study. We haven't had a moment's peace since.
Tetherian nobility. You might be royalty, Jaheira. You don't want to be queen, of course, and Ryan curses too much, so it would have to be me.
Careful, girl. They have a habit of taking against tyrants there.
I'm not a tyrant. If anyone calls me one, I'll have Fig chop their head off.
We also passed a perception check here for the loose plank. No worries at all, Tord. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And here is an unsent sending. Sending is actually a spell in tabletop, and it does limit itself to 25 words. Some of the most humorous sending spells I've ever seen have been on the Critical Role live streams, of which Matt Mercer, who voices Minsc in this game, is the DM of. But yes, you can read what Rion was supposed to be sending back, but was just too angry to actually do.
Coming along nicely there, Floki. Good, strong.
So now we'll go talk to Rion here.
No arguing. Just tell me you're well.
I am well.
And Minsc?
We're working on it.
You'll get him back. I owe him a kicking for showing Fig how to throw hatchets. So, this cult. What's our plan?
I'm not fool enough to think I can change your mind. But if you're staying, I don't want you taking up arms. There are other ways to fight.
Really? Like what?
I didn't think to bring Minsc along on this, and I probably should have. I had forgotten that they know who Minsc is. So I probably should have brought Minsc along for this conversation. I just didn't even think about it until just now.
A fair point. Though I'll leave the herb lore to Jord. I was always better at breaking bones than mending them.
I remember. The very reason Jord had so many patients to hone his craft on.
If I have to stay home and babysit, then it's your job to make sure there's still a home to look after. Take what you need, and we'll do the grand reunion when you come back for good. So, lovely as it is to have you back, Mother, go away. You have work to do.
Aye, aye, Commander. Wait, one more thing. There are doppelgangers on our trail. One even went so far as to steal my face.
Huh. All right then. If you turn up looking for hugs and kisses, I'll be sure to shoot first.
That's my girl.
Okay, and last we want to go check out her study. Okay, now holding left alt, you can see, and the perception check doesn't really matter as much, because it just highlights this pin slot. You can see that there are various letters that you can read, and there's a pin slot here. Now, this item is something that we've been carrying around for a very long time. We found this way back in Act 1 in the Dwergar encampment in the Grimforge. It's on a dead body in one of a harper in one of the cages. There at the start of the encampment. Now there are a few other locations to pick up heart-shaped pins. There's even one here in this very building. So if you don't have Jaheira with you to be able to get you access, then that's what this is for. We're gonna go ahead and culminate the usage of this. It gives it back to you after you're done, but that opens up the hideout here. Now, if you don't have Jaheira with you, this can be quite a bit more difficult to navigate. But with Jaheira in your party, all of the traps are completely disarmed. Okay, so as you're making your way through here,
Probably safe so long as I am here.
if you pass the perception
Like if
check, you
do
can
not
see
trust me, take the weight from the pressure plate there.
you're going to automatically pass the perception check with Jaheira in your party. You will not pass it automatically if she's not in your party. And it's a pretty high perception check to be able to pass it. But if you do, you can remove the wooden crate from this pressure plate, and it will deactivate these traps. Now, these traps are different colors, and they have different names. Okay? So the frosted orb is resistant or immune to all of those damage types. So what you do is, again, remove the chest, and all of the traps are going to disarm.
Have no fear.
We walked over the top of them while we were coming back in here, but they just temporarily activated, and that's it. Okay. And Astarion is very encumbered. Okay. How much am I short? Okay, I've got it.
The only patch of wilderness this city permits me. There ought to be supplies here to aid us.
Okay, so she's saying that there ought to be supplies down here. Postmaster Badger is also here.
The Archdruid's eyes and ears have fallen away in her absence. I am training new ones.
And we have various messenger rats down here as well.
The blushing mermaid. There's a stink of something fey. Smell of arse, too. But boss doesn't care about that.
And that's a reference to the hag that we have already dealt with at the Blushing Mermaid.
I bring word of gnomes. Gnomes in the sea.
That is a reference to the gnomes trapped in the Iron Throne, which we're going to be getting to not this week, but next week during our adventures through the Steel Watcher Foundry.
There's been killings in a holy place. Stinks of incense and blood.
And this is a reference to all of the murders that have been happening, especially in the Open Hand Temple, that have happened, that we've been investigating and chasing down. So if you get here and you've skipped a bunch of things, there are some clues here to open up various other quest options if you haven't gone down those roads yet. Now here, and it's been a while since I've been down here. So I honestly can't remember all of this probably.
Over there. Oh dear.
Okay.
Someone's left a trap out for us.
There's a trap there, and I think this chest.
Be careful.
Okay, the bookcase.
There are traps about.
Ooh, rolled really well on guidance. Okay, there are loose planks here with a key. And the bookcase is unlocked by that key. Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength, very, very useful. I don't think there's anything else hidden in here.
I wonder.
But you are also taken back to Baldur's Gate 2 with the Ballspawn crisis with Saravok and Chev. We're going to be learning a lot more about Saravok coming up here in a little bit. Well, here in a bit, not a little bit necessarily. Okay, so there's a druidic ritual here about possibly extending your life. Basically, it looks like
a ritual of the timeless body. Jaheira, have you been playing with immortality?
And that's exactly what it is. Her experiments to try and extend her life. She's obviously hundreds of years old now at this point. So, and here you have her supplies that she really is talking about. So the first is Belm. Belm is a throwback to Baldur's Gate 2. It's a +2 scimitar, so it's a light and finesse weapon, and it comes with Perfectly Balanced Strike. Perfectly Balanced Strike is a weapon action that refreshes per turn. Okay, so it is not just a once per short rest or once per long rest. You can use this once for every turn. You cannot use it once every attack, It is once per turn, very similar to the weapon action that comes along with the duelist prerogative that we have here. But it does allow you to do significantly more damage with it than you would normally be able to do. So this is Belm is a really good weapon for your dual wielding dexterity builds. It's light and finesse. Scimitars do the highest base damage out of those, and having perfectly balanced strike is really nice on this weapon to be able to use your bonus action to use it as well. It also comes with a whirlwind attack. This is a scimitar specific thing where, again, you can strike out at nearby foes in an arc, and you make separate attack rolls against each one. This refreshes once every short rest, though, so it's not once per turn like perfectly balanced strike is. Also, Staff of the Ram. And again, this is another throwback to Baldur's Gate 2. So once per turn, the blow possibly knocks a foe back 2 meters and stuns them. The DC on the saving throw for the stun is really, really low. There's been a lot of discussion on the forums as to whether or not it's really supposed to be that low or not, but I think it's like a DC 6 or something like that. So it's not a good saving throw at all. It doesn't stun nearly as often as you would expect an Act 3 very rare weapon to do. So that's why, like I said, there's been a lot of discussions about whether or not this thing needs to be rebalanced or not. But it is a possibility to go along with it. So you can stun your targets occasionally with this. I'm not going to be using either one, but I will send them both to Jaheira just for safekeeping. And the last thing here is Khalid's Gift. And again, another throwback to Baldur's Gate 2. While wearing Khalid's Gift, Jaheira cannot be cursed. So this is a Jaheira specific thing. And this goes back to her husband, Khalid, and it gives you Wisdom +1 up to 21. So if you've taken the +17 route on Wisdom and you've used your ability improvement once to get it up to 20, this allows you to get it up to 21. It also comes with Khalid's Gift Aid, which is basically aid at a level 3. So it gives you a maximum hit points increase of 10 to go along with it.
A gift from my husband.
Your Hero's Feast is better
I've had to renew parts
at that.
over the years.
But if you don't have...
The heart remains the same as the day he gave it to me.
And sorry, I talked over Jaheira there. But if you don't have any other... If you don't have Hero's Feast, then this is a good way to get aid at a level 3 spell. But yeah, this finishes up her area here. So now we're going to head to camp, actually, and we're going to remove Jaheira from our party, and we're going to take a long rest. We definitely do not want to start doing anything in the Steel Watcher Foundry without having taken a long rest first. So let's go ahead. All right, let's go ahead and take our long rest. See if we get a cutscene here.
Jaheira! Boo is trying his best to explain, but I still do not understand your anger.
Do not hide behind your hamster, Ranger. You do not understand because you do not listen. We were the first to discover the cult, and if you had only waited, we might have marshaled our numbers and...
Good does not wait for evil to button up its breeches. When it offers buttocks for the smacking, Minsc and Boo greet cheek with hand.
That's a good question, Lord Henry. I didn't think they did, but I can actually check it here in a second and see.
This mess falls on our heads, Minsc. The city under siege, its people poisoned by the cult. It all might have been avoided if you had just put your feelings aside and listened. You mean the doppelgangers? It is no comfort to me that my face made this fool all the easier to lead. The point remains. You meant well, Minsc. But you exposed the city to harm. You helped the cult spread. And worse, perhaps than any of this, you forced me to leave you behind.
But this is where Minsc falls short of the understanding, Jaheira. What else is a berserker for, if not to charge into danger ahead of his WotC?
WotC? Minsc, I am not your witch. You are not my bodyguard. This is not some high lodge of your homeland.
Boo agrees you're a queer kind of witch. But this city is a queer place. And Minsc, you may have noticed, is sometimes strange himself. The titles matter not. Only this. When Minsc does as Minsc does, and charges in to make a mess, Jaheira does as Jaheira does, and finds a way to save us all anyway.
So, yes, again, going back to Baldur's Gate 2, Minsc is Leroy Jenkins. He is the ultimate incarnation of Leroy Jenkins. He will always charge in head first without thinking, with the best of intentions, and at the end of the day, hope everything works out. And WotC, again, not to go too far into the lore here, but in Rashomon, the WotC are the witches who they commune with the dead and are mediums and all of that sort of stuff, but they are also the spiritual leaders of the Rashemi people. And again, there's a lot of lore that goes into them and all of that stuff in actual Forgotten Realms tabletop lore.
Oh, I fight alongside fools.
You hear that, Boo? We fight alongside the WotC again.
I am your friend, Ranger. I am not your witch. There will be no ointments or healing balms.
Not even for Boo?
Oh, it's such great interactions with those two.
First in my heart.
Let's actually, since Jaheira has this, so we're at 107 right now, under Hero's Feast. Okay, it does stack. I don't think that's supposed to. I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I played at the high end of tabletop, but I'm pretty sure that maximum hit point increasing spells are not supposed to stack. So that's where I thought that they didn't. But here it appears that they do. So feel free to use them on top of each other. So good call, Lord Henry. Thanks. Oh, I dropped it off onto Jaheira. So let's bring Shadowheart back in.
Jaheira is adept at keeping secrets. To conceal a family is no mean feat. Perhaps her skills lean more towards the Dark Lady than she realizes. I'd join you, but things are looking a tad crowded. You'll need to make... Wonderful. I was beginning to feel a little left out.
let's have our conversations.
Jaheira's family is a credit to her. She's wise to keep them secret. Safe. I was never afforded a chance to start a family of my own. Serving nature always had to come first. The city, you mean? With all its noise, smoke, stone, and bustle? I would not be here given the choice, but I promised you my support, and that is what you shall have. Still, though, this place crawls with life, but little of it flourishes. I see refugees unhoused, the destitute unwanted, orphans unloved. The city is like a forest with an overgrown canopy. Light and nourishment cannot penetrate to those who need it the most, and still it draws them in. The safety of numbers, the promise of civilization, the dream of better. All that potential is too often destined to die in the dark and rot in the gutter. I wish there was a better way. I wish everyone could see the sun, have a full belly, and know nature as a friend. There is a balance that is yet to be found. Listen to me, preaching like an initiate in his cups. Yes, I hope so. But we have a battle to win before any of that.
Jaheira would do anything to see her family safe. They're lucky to have her, and she's lucky to have them.
Best be on my way.
Okay, we'll talk to Mizora here.
Ready and waiting.
Okay, nothing special.
A natural impulse to try and shield one's loved ones from danger, especially when you feel a moral compunction to run headfirst towards it. I suspect any child of Jaheira's will share her self-destructive sense of justice, but at least her words give them pause for thought.
You know, I never dreamed our noble Jaheira would be such a terrible, terrible mother. It's nice to see heroes are as awful as the rest of us,
Okay, so nothing else that we need to speak about here, so let's take our long rest.
I'll give it a shot.
They say that home is where a person can be their truest selves, without guile, without pretense. You did well to see off the Githyanki who had invaded mine. And now that you have seen where I come from, you know all there is to know about me. At least, all that matters. The flavors of my favorite fiddlehead soup, should you wish to experience it for yourself. The very first reward I gifted myself on completion of my first adventure. The garments with which I concealed and later constructed my appearance as the Emperor. We spoke of my relationship with Duke Berlin Stilme, a story I have told no one else. I have no more secrets from you. No need to resort to subterfuge. We are true allies now, working towards a common goal. I have learned to adapt my methods to your needs. The only way we were ever going to get close enough to the brain to destroy it was by working together. but few would trust a mind flare. So I did what I had to convince you. I studied you, your motivations, your actions, your desires. I deduced the best way to align your goals with my own. Perhaps, at first, I did consider that you were just a problem to be solved. And not an easy one at that. But I persisted. I needed your absolute dedication to the cause. I anticipated the challenge, and I anticipated your resistance. What I didn't anticipate was how reasonable you would be. You don't like to be coddled, cajoled. But you responded well to logic, to rational arguments, to cold, hard facts. You saw straight to the core of what really mattered. Yes, you did. Sometimes, I felt almost like we were dancing our way towards something deeper. I'm sorry. You're right. Now's not the time. Forget I said anything. Let's move on to more important things. The Elder Brain's hive mind has grown to monstrous proportions. And through the Crown's magic, it has complete control over each and every member. It was intelligent before, but now, with its hive mind established across the city, it is well on its way to becoming indestructible. We must stop it while we still can, before we too become its slaves.
So if you wanted to, that is the cutscene where you can have a romantic cutscene with the Mind Flayer and all of its tentacly goodness. That's not for me, but I certainly don't preclude other people from exploring that possibility. So let's clear out some of this. I think it's really this. Probably. Yeah. Which is doing it. Because yes, this is still bound. So... I'm gonna spend some time going through all of these off stream. Cleaning up all of my excess inventory. Oh, it's the various slates I picked up. And we didn't do those, so let's do that real quick. Forgot about those, brought those along for a reason. Oops, I need to be on Gale.
Away from Waterdeep. The path less traveled.
I wanted to illustrate what these do.
These things have stayed interesting. I need a moment for the two of us.
Tell me, now that you have met Jaheira's children, It is not unpleasant to see her on the rough side of someone's tongue, No, Boo, you will not tell her. Minsc said nothing. We will not speak of this again. Minsc is honored indeed, but you have not the space. Who is at your back? Well, Minsc is.
Okay, with Minsc in your party, you can read these. These were all found down in the room where where he rescued Boo.
A humble turnip, preserved by drying.
A fine friend. I can forgive him his love of turnips.
And this is where you learn about his... Again, these are all throwbacks to Baldur's Gate 2. And Jan Jansen and his love of turnips, which led Minsc to hate them.
Mazzy Fantan. Not even the gods dare deny her when she sought to become a paladin.
A mailed fist in the Firecam armor style.
Much of honor and faith, but he fought like a berserker when it counted. Airy, a brave Avariel, who agreed to be my witch while I needed. She went in search of new wings.
Okay, and again, special dialogues that happen only if Minsc is in your party. There's one more. There's actually a mask down there in the basement that you can interact with Minsc in your party and get another specialized dialogue as well. Let's bring Astarion back in and we'll get all of our...
We can add one bald wall of muscle to our little group. I'm sure he'll come in handy. Maybe as a doorstop. I would, but you have... Well, in that...
And we're going to bring everybody together here. So I'm going to remove Astarion in place of Zenith.
This vessel is at thy disposal.
But the vessel only stares.
This soul away.
Okay, I'm going to move my Paladin here. Going to move Shadowheart all the way into this corner and then bring Zenith over here. When Shadowheart gets here, cast Hero's Feast. Now I can remove Zenith.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
I can go get Shadowheart.
This vessel is at thy disposal.
Time to press ahead.
Bring her back to the party.
Boo seems like a worthy addition to our group. His pet, Minsc, may prove useful also.
Oh no, it was Astarion that needed to be brought back. I was like, wait a minute, why is there not, not an option to bring her into the group? I forgot I had removed Astarion.
Ah, my favorite traveling companion. Perhaps if you lost a... In that case...
Okay. So let's go ahead and leave, and we're going to head to Baldur's Gate. We're going to start making our way down toward the Steel Watch Foundry. We're actually going to go deal with an encounter down here, and then we're going to head past the Steel Watch Foundry, actually. So, might as well stop here and get everybody buffed up.
Bloody hate them. No matter what the mouth says.
12. That's 13. Cast Armor of Agathis to get him up to 16.
Don't touch me.
Then we have Longstrider. Cast on everybody, and last.
Never a dull moment.
I don't have any potions of animal speaking left. Okay. I'm not going to need it throughout this. I don't think. I didn't see. I was going to check and see. I said I was going to do this last time, I think. If Scratch. No, he doesn't have an icon on him. I was going to see if you were out of Speak with Animals potions, if he always gave you one. Doesn't appear that he does. I can, however, possibly craft these, so I need acorn truffle and any salt. So I can make mugwort. And then I need acorn truffle.
Should be.
Oh, I need essence of acorn truffle, so I need 3. Yeah. My fault. Now that was obviously a very unoptimized way of doing that. You should have a transmutation wizard with you so you can get 2 of those instead of just 1 for every time that you craft. Okay, so we're going to head down this way. We're going to run into an encounter here. Okay. And we are heading over toward this area first, but since we're going to have an encounter here, I'm going to split my party up over here. You're getting an autosave for a reason. Don't need to be in hiding. But I do need to have my group split, and I'm going to go down with Astarion. Boy, he does look pretty cool. I went and changed him to all red. I figured that was something for him, but yeah, his fit's pretty nice now. I'll give him that. And we're going to head down this ramp here. Astarion doesn't use it. Oh, you meant for Jorval, because of Baldur's Giant Slayer. How many elixirs of cloud? I've got 2. Only got 1 of these.
Watch your back.
Now you can kind of see
Witness!
what's happening down here.
He adopts his greatest role yet.
It's not a lie. If you would just listen, I could explain.
You have done quite enough explaining, Volo Gadam. You have poisoned the very hearts and minds of these good,
kind, gentle citizens with your lies, your delusions, your conspiracies. Though you hide behind a mask of stories, we have seen beyond the veil. We see what you really are. Fearmonger. Hear, hear! Attention seeker. Hear, hear! Agent of chaos.
Your parasite stirs in recognition. This man is infected.
Wreck the hells follow! Today, citizens, we rid ourselves of this cankerous sore. Today, we burn away all falsehoods. Today, we will be divided no longer, for today, we rise in truth!
Psst. Don't just stand there. Help me, goddammit! Help me!
What's this? Another heretic in our midst? Another mind clouded by the disruptor's lies? Another soul to cleanse? Well, we are nothing if not gracious. Let us see if we cannot lift the veil from their eyes too.
No! Please! No!
Okay, and we're going to get drawn into combat, and this is why I wanted Astarion in here, to be able to move my characters up as soon as I could. So the detection cones here are always the same. You're not going to get any better or worse. The characters are always going to be facing the same way. Skurg here has lit this oil on fire, and the cart is now burning. That cart has 8 smoke powder barrels on it, and when the cart takes enough damage that it burns away, the smoke powder barrels are going to fall into the fire and blow up, and Volo, the esteemed Volo, is going to disappear in a cloud of smoke. So we have a limited amount of time to put that fire out before the rail cart goes up and he explodes. And that's the main goal here, is to kind of get in a position where you can put those flames out. And the best way to do that, I might not even have it with me anymore. Okay, so let's see what Shadowheart has for her spells prepared. So she does have Creator Destroy Water prepared. So with Shadowheart,
Need to keep going. Unseen as I was taught.
you have to be careful with these detection cones. They're very, very weird. Okay? The refugees or the regular citizens don't ever have detection cones, but like I say, some of these detection cones are very, very strange. And if I get caught out all the way up here, it's a long way to get down there. So
onward.
Okay, so some entities are not drawn in combat, so the Steel Watcher is going to stay on patrol, so you have to watch out for his detection cone. Now, I am not going to be able to get close enough to cast this. Okay, I'm not within range for Create Water to work. You can see how short that range is here. Okay, but my goal is to try and get her into that range. And I want to see if I can shadow step. Somewhere around here. Yes. So I can shadow step to right here. This is going to put me in combat, but I will be within range that on her turn, no matter when she rolls it, I'll be able to cast Create Water on this. She's got the alert feat, I believe. So she may roll well enough like that to get in here anyway. Now for Create Water, you need to be very specific about where you target this. You don't want to target the smoke powder barrels. You don't want to target Volo. You want to target the rail cart. Okay? So be very specific about where you put it. These AoE spells bug out so often when you try and target a specific item. Even though it shows an area, even though I'm targeting the smoke powder barrel and it shows an area, it might not. It might just cast it on that smoke powder barrel. This way here, I know I'm hitting the thing that is burning. I'm also getting all the flames on the ground all the way around it. Okay, and that ends the threat to Volo. They are not going to attack Volo at all. So I am free to maneuver around now with her and do whatever I want. So let's go ahead and bring my others into this and see if we can't start clearing out some of these enemies. And again, remember the Steel Watcher. I'm going to wait for him to come back. Here he comes. Then I'll follow around behind him.
Should mind my step.
And there's two more Steel Watchers down here. One of them is patrolling, and that's why you can kind of see the detection cone here getting a little weird from time to time. So I want to be focusing on the high hit point enemies here with my Paladin. Let's try and go after Antinia the Goon here. Oh, boy. Okay. So I am more than within range here. Let's actually stand back a little bit.
I wonder if the gods are watching me.
I'll use my bonus action for this, because I might kill him outright. Yep. I won't have enough movement to be able to get to anybody else, but I can ranged attack. And get at least some damage in with my second attack here. Let's bring Astarian in, and we're going to take care of Dart here if we can.
Excellent.
Oh, he's still got the shield on. Doesn't cost me an action to take that off to get Dueler's enthusiasm back. Hopefully kill him with my bonus action. And I still have ranged Dread Ambusher. Don't need Ambusher. And then Gale.
Let's explore.
Okay, good. The Steel Watcher's turned around. I did want to check Shadowheart. Okay. So she has a bonus action left. Trying not to use up too much of my action economy here, but I don't mind it. This is a big fight.
Why am I doing this?
Stay out of the way, Gale. Okay.
Step by step.
And I want to make sure that I have the greatsword out.
Let's get this over with.
For reactions.
Path less traveled.
Okay. Now that is going to leave Shadowheart exposed. Everybody is going to want to go after her during this attack round. So let's up her armor class to 21.
Time to kill. Sometimes the only way out is through.
Okay, so Gale's going to get in here.
How smart.
Oh, jeez. Couple of really good rolls there. Yeah, rolled a 19. And rolled an 18. Disadvantage. And he rolled an 18. and then rolled a 19 flat out. Okay then. Sure. All right. Whatever.
Make it hurt.
That's a crit. Let's actually try our bonus action. Perfect. Now we have a ranged attack left. And we can add sneak attack since he's threatened.
Blood comes easy these days.
Okay, for this, I'm going to jump out here. Oh, I didn't need that. Shouldn't need it to kill him. Okay.
Need to stay focused.
Well, let's not. Let's preserve our action economy here. We're rolling really well here.
Rook to queen 6.
Excuse me. If you don't mind.
To the death.
And a crit.
Another fight. Let's go.
And we should be able to finish them both off here. Well, they rolled extraordinarily well on that encounter, but it is what it is. Hey, why can't I help him?
Quite ready for you.
That was weird to lose.
Honey, you go with the girls. I'll find another way towards
Is that blood? No, never mind.
Gods, I really thought I was done for. I suppose thanks are in order. Again, what's an heroic story without a little risking of one's neck, eh? And you know what they say, the bigger the story, the more people want to kill you for it. I'll tell you all about it, but not here. Too many eyes, ears, and weapons about. Meet me at your camp.
Hey, and Volo is going to show up at our camp again.
These boots have seen everything.
And you can never have too many smoke powder barrels.
Of course they do. The fish.
There's something off for that.
Okay, and now we're going to head into this area. This is the Water Queen's house, or the Water Queen's temple. And there's a quest we need to pick up here, but there's also a buff that we want to pick up here for 3 of our party members as well.
Very well.
Oh, Wavemother, Queen of the Depths, hear me.
Please carry Holly to her final rest in the deep wilds. Please. Sorry. Are you here for a wave servant Holly's funeral? Oh, it's already started. They're just inside. Yes. Oh, please, you're most welcome. We have much to be thankful for. May the Wavemother smile on you as she did Holly.
Okay, so they've had a death.
Of course, you're right.
It is easy, remedy.
I thought it wise to make an offering to the Sea Queen before sailing out tomorrow. Wasn't expecting to find the servants so preoccupied.
Okay, now you learn that you can make offerings here.
She's fond of trinkets, value.
Sorry, mate. No time to chat. Just here to make an offering, then leave. In and out, yeah?
Okay. And you learn about Umberly. And to earn your blessing and spare me the wrath of your Sahagin. So you can make offerings to Umberly here, and you'll get a buff out of it. And you'll also have the, see, you can see what happened. They made an offering to Umberly, dropped their donation in the offering chest, and they came away with Bless. Now this Bless is a special Bless in that it lasts for a long rest. It's the same Bless as normal, but instead of lasting for 10 turns and costing a spell slot, it lasts until your next long rest, and all you have to do is make a donation to Umberly for it. Now, this Bless, just like I would have expected with all other things, in which we talked about briefly a bit ago on Aid and Hero's Feast, this Bless does the exact same thing as the spell Bless, and it also grants the same exact condition as Sweetstone Features. So Sweetstone Features and this Bless do not stack. And we'll illustrate that here in a second. So I'm going to interact with the offerings chest. And I'm going to put 1 gold in the offering chest. And you see what happened. Sweetstone Features was replaced by this Bless. Okay. So this is and that's actually a very interesting question. I need to go look and see if I can get Sweetstone Features back. That's a good question. I'm not going to but let me just go to my camp and see if I can talk to the statue or interact with the statue and get it back. I know I can get it back after a long rest, but there it is. Okay, so it's going to come back after a long rest next time. But those two do not stack with each other, right? However,
no rest for the wicked, I
anybody else who interacts with the offering chest and drops even 1 gold in there is going to get the bonus.
Just check for anything useful.
Oops. Sorry, I'm keyboarding this and I'm hidden behind a tree. Move out of the way. Okay, and then it's Starian.
Certainly.
Okay. So now everybody has the bonus to their attack rolls and saving throws. So again, this can be very, very beneficial before you go into certain encounters or certain interactions with items where you're going to have to pass saving throws to be able to have an until long rest bless that you don't have to worry about a countdown timer running out or something like this. Now you can come back here and do this over and over and over again after every long rest if you want. However, there is a section of here, if you take anything out of the offering chest, then you will be actually this offering chest, if you take anything out of the offering chest, you will no longer be able to get blessed. In the cellar of this place is kind of like we saw at the Stormshore Tabernacle. All of these items that get donated go to a pile of golden items in the cellar. If you steal from that, not only will you not be able to get blessed anymore, but you will be attacked by a bunch of Sahagin down there. Very much similar to how the Stormshore Tabernacle works. So if you want to continue getting the bless buff out of here, don't steal anything from the offering chest or from the cellar downstairs.
The Wavemother sees all, even you.
And that is a warning about all of that.
If not over, then through. I need a quick word.
The celebration is in the main chamber. Praise Umberlee!
Responsible for this injustice, leave its master, a bloated carcass in the spume. Rejoice, sisters, for Umberlee has blessed her humble daughter with a pure death. Her lips blue with her kiss, her lungs full of her quenching word. Umberlee's mercy saved her from a slow, sinking death in the beast's shadow. How dare this beast sully the safety of Grey Harbor? We will find its master and send him struggling into the bitch queen's embrace. Not a sweet sleep like Holly's, but a suffocating flood of fruitless garths and bursting flesh. You, supplicant, what tribute do you bring to honor the Wavemother's fallen daughter? A fine offering. Always appreciated in the eyes of the Wavemother. Your tribute is well received. Breathe deep as she permits. Yes. Thank the Wavemother. Blessed Umberlee saw fit to spare her an ignoble death. But her passing was not as the Wavemother intended. It was a beast who took her life. An unnatural one whose very existence is an affront to Umberlee. A wretched metal monstrosity hewn by hubris. A rusting pollutant that bleeds black blood into Umberlee's pristine waters. The beast struck Holly while she was swimming in Grey Harbor. She was found by some fishermen. She would have suffered a terrible, agonizing death had Umberlee not bestowed upon her the mercy of drowning. The Queen of the Depths is generous to those who serve her, and her favor is far less deadly than her wrath. Find the master of this poisonous beast and slay him. Then one of her most precious gifts shall be yours. We haven't found its lair as yet, Perhaps you can find where the beast takes its slumber and skewer it before it wakes. That privilege is not yours to earn. Salt kiss your brow. We await your return and the Beastmaster's demise.
Okay, so now you learn that one of their tide was swimming in Grey Harbor and was killed by a great beast. We don't know much more than that at this time, but they don't know who it was or anything like that yet. So a couple things I did want to also clarify. The bless effect that we have, you can do this once. It's not, you can't do it after every long rest. If I implied that, I apologize. It's a one-time buff, and that's why I said this is going to come back after the long rest, just because this bless is going to go away and I'm going to get Sweetstone features back. But this is a once per party member type of bless, not like Anointed in Splendor is, where you can come back and get it continuously. This is a once per character thing, so keep that in mind when you're going through. If there's something that you want to particularly use it for, this would be, you can save it up until that time. Okay, so a couple of things here in, you can go up here to the next floor here.
There's nothing for you up here, Flotsam. Back downstairs you go.
Okay, and
You'd better have a very good offering in hand if you're being this much of a pain.
okay, the interaction here, they're not going to let you go through these doors. Now there are other ways to get there, and
Stop! These are the Flood Tides chambers. You've no business here, Flotsam.
I was just turning around. Thank you. But there's also a cellar.
Something over there.
Smoke powder arrow, always nice. And you hear the fishermen talking about us at the Sahagin here. Over here is a passageway. Now, I'm not going to go in there right now. The entire area in the cellar is marked as trespassing. So if you are seen, then things can turn bad while you're down there. But in the cellar is the chest that we were talking about. There's also yeah, I think it's actually just a chest, actually just that pile of stuff that's down there, actually, come to think of it. So if you're not going to steal from it, then there's no real need to go down there. There's nothing valuable in it other than what you're going to get out of the offering chest stuff, and it's just random gold. The more valuable things are actually up on the second floor of the chambers here. And like I say, there are multiple ways to get there, not having to go through her.
You've wandered into a forbidden area.
You sense it might be time to leave.
I must have crossed that detection cone when I flew up there.
Rejoice as the Wavemother welcomes another daughter to the deep wild.
Okay, yeah. Her detection cone, oh yeah, it extended out there. So I missed it. Not going to deal with it now. We're almost out of time anyway. But you can use invisibility to get up there onto that walkway. You can fly up there, and you can see that right next to the door, trying to get it in view, the detection cone ends up next to the door. So you can fly up there, be invisible, go into hiding. That will allow you to open the door and get into her chamber here. Now, inside her chamber is a chest, and inside that chest you have a couple of items. One is one of the high security vault keys that we just saw in the bank. The other is the Wavemother's cloak. The Wavemother's cloak basically gives you not a permanent, but as long as you're wearing it, it gives you the wet condition. Now that means you are resistant to fire damage, but vulnerable to both lightning and cold damage. Right, now that's part of the Wavemother's set. If we complete this quest, we're going to get the Wavemother's robe, which is what she's wearing. It looks really cool. It's a great spellcaster robe in the way that it looks, at the very least. But it gives you resistance to fire and cold damage. So now you're not vulnerable to cold anymore. So you're only vulnerable to lightning with wearing Wavemother's robe. And it also allows you gives you the create and destroy water spell. It's kind of bad in that you can only cast it once per long rest. I wish it was more powerful than that as a very rare item. But it allows you to cast it. It also allows you to get hit points back if you're standing in water. At the start of your turn, I believe it's 1d4 hit points that you can get back by standing in water. So for your wet-based cold and lightning builds, it's a great set of items to have, in that you're gonna be standing in wetness all of the time anyway. You can also combine that with a few other lightning charge items, starting your turn in water to gain lightning charges and that sort of stuff. So you can really make a good build based around all of these wet condition items. Now, the NPC that we just talked to, Alondra, here, I don't think you can pickpocket it, but she has the Wavemother sickle, and I think you have to kill her to get it. I'm not entirely sure though. But it does cold damage, does 1d4 cold damage, and you have advantage on attacks against wet creatures. And it's not just attacks with the sickle, it's attacks against any attack roll based spell or anything or ranged attack that you're going to use. So you can put it in your main hand, and even if you never use it to melee attack anybody, you'll still have advantage on all of your spell based attack rolls and all of that sort of stuff against wet targets. So there's a whole set of wet based gear here that you can pick up, and for certain builds can be very useful. For me, not so much in this one. I'm going more for a cold based build with Gale that can utilize wet as well, but not really anything that I'm going to be seriously focused on. So before we continue on, I'm going to get my health back up.
I wonder what the next move is.
After those horrifically good rolls for them. Because next week we are going to start making our way into here, and there is a bunch of combat that we're going to have to deal with. So the Steel Watcher Foundry is a long set of quests that starts here, breaks off, and heads back to another location here in the lower city, and then comes back to this location. And in the course of completing the quests that go along with this, we're going to complete the quest that deals with the Wavemothers here. So that's why I wanted to pick it up before I went in, so that we can kill a few birds with one stone. So next week should be the start of a very interesting set of quests for us. So that brings us to a good point to make the break today. As always, thank you all for being here. I love the interactions with my chat. You guys are always great. And to all the new people who have shown up, again, thank you very much for coming to the channel. I certainly appreciate your support, because, as always, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jerval saying, until next time, fare thee well.